That's okay. You can roast me.
Okay. I don't know what you say about Curtis. I think I got anything. God damn it. It's not ugly like you. It's not as easy.
I just want someone to come up with a Checkmat riff for the intro.
A riff?
Yeah. Like Joey singing or something.
Checkmat. Yeah.
Okay, I'm not Tristan singing it. We just need someone talented enough to sing something.
Sing one right now. Just make the refrain up.
Show us what you got.
What would be the lyrics behind the Checkmat song?
No, you're in charge. You're the jingle man.
Punching face, yes we can. Punching faces at Checkmat. Kind of like that.
I like that.
There you
It's
go.
a
That's
nice,
pretty good.
nice jingle.
Nice ring.
So we're gonna use that every time.
Oh,
We're
my
bring in the podcast just like
That's
that.
how it's gonna be.
Yeah, making people wet off the start.
No, what was it? Was it getting hard? Getting hard with the boys.
Getting hard with the boys.
Water. Fuck.
All possible names.
I'm gonna be right back.
You can have water right now.
I have to have water.
Oh, okay.
It's a necessity.
Right.
Tristan's he's had 300 whole calories today, so he's dying.
I'm terrible at counting calories.
I don't know how to count, so I don't even worry about it. I found out today that fruit is a carb.
Yeah. Isn't almost everything?
That's what he said. That's what Tristan said. Everything's a carb. I'm like, I don't know anything. I don't get this. I'm like,
Or is no? Everything's a calorie.
yeah, everything's a calorie, you
Yeah.
liar.
We just sound really uneducated right now.
What the hell?
real
Oh
dumb.
my god.
Everything is a carb.
Backwards logic you guys are fucking talking about. So what do you think calorie is?
I guess everything.
Everything, yeah. Well, calories are broken down into carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. You idiot.
That would be everything.
Also, alcohol is a different form of macronutrient,
A good
but
one.
they just don't include it in nutritional facts or anything because it's not required. But neither are carbohydrates, really.
Okay.
So then technically beer could possibly be good for me?
You know,
Nothing's good for you.
someone told me there's like they made beer because they're trying to make sure the water was clean or something back in the day.
That sounds probably something like that.
Something like
Try,
that.
So, it was probably discovered in some efforts to not die. That's how most things back in the day were discovered.
What's in that, by the way?
Not beer. Everyone thinks beer is in my growler at
Or
all
moonshine.
times. Or moonshine. It's just like a home brew of spit and whatever else I could come up with. Some cayenne pepper, pink Himalayan sea salt. Beer.
You're supposed to cut the Himalayan sea salt right now.
Oh no. Just like Caesar's pre-fight.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's no problem. You try and fucking on the plane like we're in the lounge going to Saskatoon. And sitting there, and he comes up next to me with a fucking Caesar in his hand. I'm like, okay, not bad enough that it has vodka in it, but it's pure salt, and you're cutting weight. And I take it, and I'm like, I'll drink it. And so he's like, oh no, I put a lot of vodka. He's gonna think I'm an alcoholic. The first thing I do is go, it's not strong enough. And I go get the vodka, and I pour more in.
And I was like, I thought it was a stiff drink because I'm like so hungry. I'm like, I'll just get the nourishment from the Caesar, and the vodka, right? And Tristan, when he took it, I was like, what can I drink? Whiskey and ice, and that's it. And I was like, okay, I'm just drinking whiskey and ice in the
When was
airport.
this?
In
Like
the
3 days before he's supposed to fight, or 2 days before he's supposed to fight.
Yeah, 2 days out in the Saskatoon airport, or no, the
Oh,
one before.
Vancouver. That's Vancouver. Weird.
Was that the one he
Vancouver.
pulled out?
Yeah, the guy,
The other guy pulled out,
Yeah,
and then he rehydrated with beer after.
and started cramping up everywhere. I was pretty upset when the guy pulled out. So I was gonna have a fight in Saskatoon
With a wall?
in July, and when the guy pulled out 3 hours out of the weigh-in, we're in a hot tub cutting weight, and the promoter comes and says, "Oh, we gotta talk," which is never good. 3 hours away from.
No.
Maybe he's giving me a bonus. No, he's giving me he's giving me bad news.
Yeah.
And he said the guy had staff and blah blah blah. And I go up and I kind of like start like can't talk, and Tristan and the promoter are bullshitting, and I'm just like ominous staring at the ground, just like pre-cry face. So then I go and I was like going to headbutt the wall, and luckily I didn't really, because like in the pool where we were, the wall is like serrated like pieces of glass, like little like that rough
Kind of
feeling?
like tiny stucco.
Like tiny stucco.
Oh.
So I put my head pretty hard against it, and even that had cut my head open. I was like,
Oh.
oh my god! Like, luckily I didn't headbutt this thing.
I think I was talking to the promoter. Like, yeah, I should probably go stop him headbutting. It's like, okay, and slowly walked away.
Yeah, see you guys later. So then I like cried for like 10 seconds, and I was like, kind of shake it off. I was like, okay. And Tristan's like, let's go get some beer in you, buddy. So we go upstairs, and he gives me a handful of Oreos, and we get some beer, and we're just drinking, and we're chilling, put on like stand up or something, just to kind of just start drinking and eat Oreos and stand up. Let's get happy, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sitting, we're watching it, and I start feeling super weird. I was like, oh, like I'm just like getting uncomfortable in my own skin. I was like, this is like weird.
Let's start off by saying he was a pound away from making weight.
1 pound away, 156. I just cut I went from 64. So I cut, I'm
Yeah,
not good at
that's-
math, that's like 12, 16,
Something.
18 pounds?
40, 50. No,
It's like 9.
close enough.
Oh, 9 pounds. Okay, so I cut 9
64 to
pounds.
55.
He's Asian.
Yeah.
I trust him.
I trust you, yeah.
Oh. Do
Math
you
with the
walk
boys.
do you walk at 6'4"?
No, not at all. I'm at 68 right now, probably.
Okay.
So, and I'm going to 55 again. So,
Yeah.
a few days out, which is pretty easier than some of us. But, and I started feeling uncomfortable in my own skin, sitting in the bed, and then my back starts seizing up, and I could feel the shape of my organs in my back, and I was like, oh, what's going on? And then I look at Tristan, and Tristan kind of looks, and he's like, have you drank any water yet? And I was like, oh no, I haven't drank any water. So I've just been drinking beer and eating Oreos, and my body's just like, okay, let's kill this kid. Let's cramp him up. And I was in the most excruciating pain, trying to play it off like nothing for 30 solid minutes, sipping my Pedialyte. I'm just excruciating in so much pain.
Yeah.
So don't rehydrate with beer if anyone is listening.
No, that's a big reason why I don't even know if I could do it. Because I feel like I don't even have that much to cut.
You cut.
I'm sure I could cut a lot, but I'd be dead.
Well, you can cut water weight. No, you can cut water weight.
You're pretty muscular, muscle.
Yeah, you wouldn't need to cut a lot of. You wouldn't have to cut any fat really. So cut. You wouldn't have to lose what Joey has to lose, right, before he can get to weight. So but you still lose the water weight, right?
Yeah.
Which is still, and you're a smaller guy, so it'll be a smaller percentage.
Yeah. Joey looks like a water bed sometimes. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Fucking Joey.
That's what you get for not coming to grappling on Tuesdays, Joey. That's a message.
2 days in a row slouching. I don't wonder you're so fat, Joey.
Oh, he's coming later, but only for his personal.
Well, I don't know why we're looking over here for Joey.
We're
Joey!
talking directly to Joey.
Yeah, we're talking Joey.
You know.
All right, so
He's our only listener.
yeah, right. He says he listens to us at work.
Basically, is Joey.
Yeah. This is episode 9 of the Checkmat podcast. I think I got the number right because I said 7 twice
Yeah,
for 2 of them. And this is a super special episode. We got Tristan and Josh this time. First time Tristan's showing up on the podcast. So for the few people listening to this that have no idea who you are, let's just set it up. Just give me an origin story. Comic book 1.
Ooh.
Comic book 1. Okay.
Good.
Man. Okay. Well, I'm a fighter.
Really?
That's where I am now. So let's go back a couple of years to when I wasn't. Okay, so I was a little punk kid in high school, a skater kid. Played hockey for a few years, gave up on that in high school, and then just skateboarding every day. So I was always good at falling down and smashing myself. That was never an issue. And yeah, once I started getting older, and I wanted to try something different. I always wanted to do martial arts, and my parents were always they always kept me away from martial arts for whatever reason. I did karate camps a couple times, but it never really stuck. So saw a jiu-jitsu club, and I was like, all right, go check this out. And day one was just hooked. So I was grappling. I was like, what is it? Getting armbarred over and over again. I'm like, what is this magic?
What was the club?
It was a place called, at the time, I think Submissions 101 Gym, or Victoria Jiu-Jitsu Academy. Went through a couple of things. It's now Fierce Studio. It's Ari's gym.
Ari's.
Yeah. So
Planet.
So which became 10th Planet. Went through several names. But anyway, so I started rolling there, and I was hooked, and I did that for a little bit. I ended up doing some competitions. I went pretty well. I won a bunch of gold medals, and tried some kickboxing. Same thing. Did some pancration, and then I just hopped into pro MMA right away. No amateur fights or anything. I didn't really know what the fuck I was doing. I was like, this is a great idea. So I did that. Fought a bunch. I went because I didn't have much any amateur experience. No, I went
what
1-1.
What age were you when you
I
first?
was 25 when I made my first fight. I was 20, maybe 19, 20 when I first started training. First fight was like 5 years later. So I was older when I started. It's also late bloomer. I was a tiny kid all through high school. Like when I was 25, I looked like I was 17 still. So I'm 33, but I feel like I'm probably more like 28-year-old. And like I'd say, my first fight was at 25, so I don't have the miles of someone that's been fighting since they were 18 years old, right? So I'm a little bit older, but I feel like I feel awesome, feeling my prime, and like I said, I had no amateur experience. I jumped in when I was 5-5 at one point as a pro, and I was kind of like, well, I'm just gonna keep doing it because I like doing it. Didn't really think it was gonna go anywhere, and now I'm 12-6, and I've just, because I didn't really think it was gonna go anywhere, I just said yes to all the hardest fights, and I ended up winning pretty much all of them. So here I am now, looking away, about to fight again in my hometown where my first fight was Daquan Owens.
What's
Terrell's brother.
Dwan Owens.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
He just didn't know how to say it, so he said Daquan.
That is now his name.
Yeah, and so beat the shit out of this guy, and hopefully that's the last thing I need to do before getting the call to Big Show.
Can you kind of like set up this fight for me, like make it kind of,
So I'll do it from
Well, I'm gonna win. Yeah, okay, you go first.
He's fighting Daquan, Terrell Owens' brother, and he's gonna go into Tristan's backyard, and that seems like the only place that guy fights is where Tristan is best at, which is I just don't see. I don't know. Like it just, to me, it's like I scratch my head. I'm like, I don't think that's what I would do. I'd have to bring a gun or something, but like
Maybe he won't go to that, but that's fine for me too.
you can take him there though.
Yeah, I can take him there too. But I just think the way he's fought his last few fights, he barrels into the clinch and kind of fights for a greasy takedown, gets on top, and just holds on top. And I'm like, it's like what I want you to do. It's like coming to, like, I usually want to get into the side of the clinch and I have to work to get in. And it just means I'm not going to have to take any unnecessary risks rushing in. I can kind of stay on the outside and be safe and try and coax him into rushing in, and then I can, shoot in if he rushes in too sloppy, or then we get into a clinch and it's in my world. And I just, from what I've seen, I'm just a way better grappler than him. So I think I'm going to finish him in the first. I could be pleasantly just surprised and have a good nice 5-round tilt. I've had a lot of 5-round fights, and I've never been to the 5th round of a fight. So I've been to the 4th round once. That's the furthest I've been in. So I've always want to say I was in the 5th round of a fight. That would be awesome.
So, but like for your career-wise, like what?
For my career, I want to finish him 2 seconds. I want to go out and just like blink at him and he falls over. But
well, I mean, like in the story of like you as a fighter.
Yeah, well, obviously this one I'd really like to get out on the skates, be ready for UFC Vancouver, and hope that there's a lightweight in the card that gets hurt and I get the call. So obviously, yeah, I want at some point in my career to have that. It'd be way better if it was in the UFC. But I'm going to try and finish him in the first, but if I end up, finishing him in the 5th, I'm going to look back and be pretty happy about that, But I'm finishing, that's for sure.
Yeah. Take me back to like the first fight you ever had, though. That one you were saying.
First one, the first MMA fight. It was against a guy that he had a couple amateur fights, and I don't know, I was a blue belt in jiu-jitsu. My striking was horrible. And it's actually, if you search me, I think it's the only fight that comes up. If you want to watch a video of me fight, you're like, well, I watched a fight of you. I'm like, what? I'm like, oh, like my first fight from fucking 12 years ago. I basically came out. I tried to like hit. I probably walked forward. I just like walked forward, like straight forward. And he hit me a move, and I kind of swatted air. And I fucking trudge at him again. He hits me again and moves. I'm like, fuck. And then finally, I just like bite down and kick him in the leg, like super hard, like a good hard leg kick. But I remember, and then he kind of hopped back. So again, I'm trying to hit it again, but he's just dancing in and out. He's a way better striker than me. Like, hands down, it's not even comparison. I'm getting frustrated, trying to strike. And eventually, I'm like about 2 minutes, and like, bah! And I just barrel in and charge in. I've never done a day of wall fight. I didn't even know it's a thing. I'm a blue belt in jiu-jitsu. That's my extent of my knowledge. So like, barrel and get against the fence. You get a high crotch, and I didn't know what to take him out, so I just lifted him up in the air as high as I could and slammed him on the ground. And 2 seconds later, I was on his back and fucking choking him. Like,
The DC Classic.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Just like a high crotch, like whoa, and I slammed him. Hopped on. I think I got on side control, kneed him a few times. He gave up his back, and I hopped on, choked him out, and that was all she wrote. And here I am. Some stuff happened.
12 years later.
Stuff happened. Some more fights.
So are you guys the kind of guys that, when you're in a fight and someone hits you? Because I remember Hardeep was saying this too. Is like when you get hit that first time, you kind of wake up.
Oh yeah, totally. I've been good the last couple of fights. I haven't, but that's totally a problem for me. I'd go out and I'd be like, okay, oh yeah, fuck, I'm in a fight, and I kind of wake up. It's kind of why I've changed the way I warm up for fights now. I pretty much spar warming up for the fights. I get someone to put shin pads on, puffy MMA gloves, headgear if they can, so I can hit them, and we just kind of move around and spar lately. And I get hit in that. I try and get that getting hit out in that sparring right before I go out, so I'm already reacting, because I find the biggest thing in the fight that is the reaction, and you need to be reacting quickly. Like the fitness, the cardio, that's all there. It's fine. I'm not too worried about that. It's that the ability to cognitively process stuff needs to be warmed up. So that's rather just hitting pads and I can mindlessly hit pads, right, and get a workout and get my body warm. But it's that mental sharpness that's so important.
That's why I do the PCP.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, with a little bit of whiskey, so
Well,
I'm numb and then I'm fast. So it's like good luck
You don't
trying to
feel-
hurt me.
Yeah.
I already don't feel pain, so
you
just
go.
emotional pain.
We're talking about PCP, parents, chips, and pop, right?
Yeah. What else is there?
PCP party, right? Parents, chips, and pop.
My parents always pump me up.
So do you think that, because for me, when I listen to like Joe Rogan podcast, and I was listening to like GSP, and for him, I feel like it's kind of like a sport more so. But at the same time, do you remember that guy I was telling you about that came in that was like, I just want to fight?
Oh yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Right, that kind of guy.
A lot of those.
But
I haven't seen them actually making it to a fight.
yeah, I know he didn't come back.
No,
Right.
they get their asses kicked and they don't.
Like for that, like I do see like GSP as like a super, like he's looking at it as a sport, right? And like he's very calculated in everything and in this preparation and everything. For me, and like how I fight, or at least the mentality that I go into with a fight, is a couple different things. Is I'm desensitizing the person that I'm fighting, right? I don't want to humanize them at all, in the sense that like fighting is extremely violent, and when you hurt someone, like I'm not desensitized or I feel empathy that person is someone's son and someone's like father or husband or whatever, and I'm just broke his jaw or smashed his face or just ripped his toes into his ass, like when I heard Tristan was at a fight where I was on the island, and it was a boxing fight, and I fought a guy from Zuma, and a very tough guy, and I knew I heard him with the first punch, but I didn't know what kind of damage I did, and I had broke his jaw in 3 places by the end of the second round, down the center, up high in his cheekbone, and down on the actual joint. But the one where I broke the upper half of his jaw in his cheekbone, so if that bone that runs along your teeth, that bone was protruding through his jawline, so it had broke through the skin inside his mouth, so his mouth was filling up with blood and stuff. And I remember at the time, like, you're happy that you won, right? But then as soon as like the moments after, you're kind of like getting back into yourself and back into reality, you I cry if I win or lose, I'm a baby, right? But you go through those moments and you're like, you remember hugging your opponent and him mumbling words that he can't even make out because of a broken jaw. So for me, I don't look at it as a sport. It's a fight, and if that ref, if Mitch, what's his name, Mitch from around town, or whoever's reffing these fights from around here, like if they weren't in there, whoever wins first you're killing a man, Like it's nice to think, and like I hate ignorant people watching fights and they're like boo or these things, because unless you've been standing across from someone, a lot of people I meet, not in my realm, not in my circle, but a lot of normal humans never seen a fight.
No.
They've never been in a fight, and for these ignorant people to watch us pour our heart and soul into the thing and see when people get knocked out or think, they're in a dangerous situation, and if that ref wasn't there, they are dead. You know? And that's the reality behind it. So it's neat to think it's a sport and all that stuff, but at the end of the day, it's combat, and that's all it is. The only reason it's a sport is because we got to do it again and we got to restart. But if in real life,
When the refs there.
yeah, but that's not real life, you know. Like, but what we're doing is like that risk is there every time. So I don't look at it as a sport for me.
Mm-hmm.
But
Fair enough.
yeah,
What do you think?
What was the question?
Well, just because I think, like, you know, I see what GSP's saying in a lot of ways.
we're
A lot of
doing
guys,
sport, yeah.
they take it that way.
Well,
right?
there's sport measures to it. So going back with what Josh said, so if you look at how we fight, we judge it based on, especially it's a little different in Asia. I think it's actually a little better. But with the round to round, the whole boxing system, round to round, like, well, what are we trying to judge? We're trying to judge if we were to fight to the death, who would be alive at the end. So I don't really care what happens in the first round, honestly, in a fight. If a guy dominates the first round and the other guy survives and somehow comes back and finishes the other guy, I don't care about the first round.
Yeah.
So I think the first round shouldn't matter. I think only the last round of the fight should matter. But then the problem if you do that is people will just wait. They'll wait to the third round.
Right.
and then they'll be boring
They'll be boring 2-round fights. So with the PFL, what they're doing is with the
point system.
well, there's a night where they fight twice in one night.
Yeah.
And they say you do a 2-round fight and a 3-round fight if they win. So the way the 2-round fight works is you can have so many draws. What if you have one guy wins one round, first round, the other wins the second round? Whoever wins the first round wins the fight. And I'm like, that helps push the action, but it doesn't. In the end, I would say who wins the second round really wins the fight. So these are things where it's like, well, there is sport aspect to it, and you got to kind of plan around and program around that and how the rules set are, and you have to abuse them to an extent, but and again at the same time, it is still a fight.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not. There's very few limitations on what you can do, right? Like as far as hand-to-hand combat, you can pretty much do whatever you want.
Well, when you're in there, what's going through your head?
I just
Smash this guy, right?
fight. I don't know. Just I'm trying to pay attention and just trying to be in the moment, react with what he says. This, that. I'm not really thinking about it. It's so automatic. Like I spar, it's like I'm not even worried when I'm sparring anymore. I'm not even like I don't even get any adrenaline rush at all. Like it's and even in the fights happens less and less and less. It's just more normalized. It's like, oh, okay, go. He threw a jab. Okay, good move. Don't I hit him in the face? Oh, there's a takedown. So I'm more thinking of what I'm doing rather than what's going on. I'm not really I don't think about the crowd. I don't think about anything else. It's just fighting.
Well, being in the moment, like you said, like I found the times in fights I've done the worst is because I'm never afraid to be hurt or whatever. But I remember when I fought Cleve Bentley, I was like watching the whole fight third person almost. Like I get hit, I see him getting ready to hit me with a huge elbow, and I'm like, huh. I wonder
watch it happen.
Yeah, I wonder what that elbow's gonna feel like.
Yeah.
You know what? It didn't hurt that
Yeah,
bad.
it didn't hurt that bad.
And
Yeah,
then I
I've
got
done
hit
that
with
in
another
fights
one.
too, and you're like, you get hit, and you're like, it's like, okay, we should block those, but then you're like, you're literally thinking,
A step behind every
no,
time.
you're just like, oh, I don't care. I can, those can hit me. Those don't bug me. And it's like, so you're just like, oh wow, he's really lighting it up. So like for some reason in your head, you're like, I could just walk through these punches, and you just walk, and it's like, and you don't feel them.
Yeah.
And you're like, it's not that hard. But it's not smart. You want to be reactive. It's like kind of like that waking up and going, right, yeah, I should not get hit. Right?
Yeah.
And then every once in a while you get hit with one, you're like, okay, I know more of those, please.
Yeah.
I only got hit with
I haven't been hit with too many of those.
Not too many.
Not too many, but a couple.
Couple hours, like mostly from my mom.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's like going back to that guy, right? that said he wanted to fight. It's like I think there is something to, because you know how he was saying, but Khabib's stand-up's not very good. I'm like, wait. I was like, wait.
Wait a second.
What are you saying?
So how much do you
really?
think Khabib works on his stand-up?
That's
a lot.
That's what I'm saying. Right? But with that, like when you think on that I don't know, train of thought, that's kind of like closer to like it's a sport's like a skill that you build, right? There's
and like totally, you can be just really good at one thing, but dude, you're not that good at wrestling. So how about you come back when you are?
Yeah, but I think there also is something to like, you know, the Masvidal Askren fight where it's like it is just a fight where there's so much chaos that could happen. You could be like as trained like as,
well, there's so many variables.
that's what I mean.
It's very variable-istic. That's why someone that's not a superb athlete can do very, very well. In MMA, the more variable in the sport, the less athleticism matters. Now, it does matter. It makes a difference. But in reality, like, there's guys that are not athletic at all, and like the most athletic people in the world come in and just that don't know how to fight, and they'll get tuned, absolutely tuned by someone that's got half their size, not athletic, slow, weak, and they'll tune them up, right? Just from pure technique. That just shows you that that it is like versus sprinting. Like I say, you take Jonathan Bailey, take me. You feed him heroin and crack for years, never show him, give him any training, nothing. Me, perfect. From birth, raised to be a sprinter. He'll crush me, like no problem. Wouldn't even, at a jog, he'd crush me. Like, there's just no way I'm ever going to be a fucking 100-meter dash.
Beat me in a 100-meter dash.
Yeah, that's right. Like,
I was surprised. Still upset.
Yeah, the short of the legs, right?
He's barely taller than me.
Just enough. But yeah, so that's what's so great about fighting is the variables. Like it's like MMA, it's just there's so many variables, there's so many ways to do it. There's so many, the best fighter is not the one who's the best at what he can do. He's the best that can change his style based on his opponent that he's fighting, because one style is not going to work against everyone. There's no one style work against everyone. That's why you don't see undefeated people generally, like, and you see the specialists. The specialists still coming in, and so for the most part, like in the early stages of MMA, it was all specialists, right? And you saw, jiu-jitsu, wrestling, best, other grappling arts kind of fall behind those, and then people learn how to strike and wrestle and all that. So you have people that are specializing in these, or starting to be the jack of all trades slowly. That, and it's like, okay, well, that's kind of the modern thing, but you still see a few specialists that are just like they come out and they're like Bibiano, like his striking's not bad. He's worked on his striking a lot. His striking's it's good. He's got decent striking, but he's not a world-class striker. That's not what has made him who he is. His jiu-jitsu is so phenomenal. Like, and even the stuff he does with his jiu-jitsu, it's nothing fancy. It's nothing you haven't seen before. It's but there's little details that he does that are just reactions to him that he doesn't even think about, and he just does. And it's just there's so many of those in place that as soon as grappling happens, he just does his reactions, and it's just like seamless. It's like bop, 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 and he's on you. He's on your arm. You're fucking control. You're like, what the hell happened? I don't even know how this happened.
That's why I want them to bring back headbutts. For me.
For you.
I've been practicing them since I was like 10. So it's like on everything. And I've never headbutted something that won. So like.
With that wall.
Well, I didn't headbutt it though. Remember? I touched it.
And it cut you. So.
And it still won.
But that wasn't. But it wasn't a headbutt.
Yeah. So
I was resting my head on it. So that's why I want them to
give
bring
you a
back
technical pass on that one.
Yeah. Technically, I didn't headbutt it.
So the fight never happened.
But talking about variables going into fighting, why I like it, especially for short white people like me and Tristan, is like what a skill. There's skills that go kind of like unknown, or not unknown, but unrecognized in some facets of fighting. There's skills that you can be born with that aren't height and not being athletic, like having a durable chin or having a great work ethic. Like the thing which I like is I wasn't that good at any sport, I worked my ass off in all those sports and I just slowly get better. But like the thing with fighting is just, if you just show up every day and train your ass off, you're gonna get better and you can shit kick people. Like, like when you have meet a guy who has no athletic ability, but he shows up every single day. In 4 years, that guy is a beast, because he doesn't have the will to quit. He's already been the shittiest guy in the room for how long? And then he's getting beat up by everyone. And those variables that he didn't have, much skill.
He's seen more variables, so he has more more knowledge to do it. It's not who's best, it's who's left.
Yeah, it's who's left.
Ooh.
It seems like everyone quits, man.
Yeah. Oh no! It's the number of guys I've seen, I'm like, this guy's going to UFC for sure. He's going to be a killer. But he isn't training here. It's like I've seen so many guys come and go that have all the potential, and they just, I'm done. They stop.
I was actually talking to Joey about that last night too.
Yeah.
Whereas like I feel like Joey not only has a talent, but he loves it too. Like that's what I know. Like when I said this in the last podcast, is when I see you guys, I know that like even if you were to tell me I had the talent, I know I don't have the love for it. Like I don't have the drive to show up every day because it's grueling for me because it's more fun. It's just like a video game.
So that's not where your motivation lies.
Exactly.
And
right?
like I say, you can never get good at something you don't really love. You really want it. Like it's like, oh, these kids, these are gonna be these crazy athletes. Like they used to think like specializing kids young is the way to do it. And you get these like teenage phenoms that are super good. And they're like, oh, when they're adults, they're gonna be crazy. And they never go into their sport because they hate it because their parents have forced them to do it their whole life and they don't want to do it. So you're not motivated to do it. You're not going to be able to do it. What makes you do if you're lifting weights and it's like I can do one more rep? I'm done. I don't need it. But you're thinking, what if your goal is maybe it's like, no, I'm a bodybuilder. I need to get there. Like it's like you need something intrinsic to motivate you to be good.
Very nice word. I like that.
The only smart word.
I'm gonna Google it when I get home.
Yeah.
Along with European sharking.
Yeah.
Side note. Search
Don't
it up.
ever Google it.
Joey, go home and Google it.
So going back to when you're in
European
there,
sharking.
like performing, and like it just reminds me of when Achilles told me his first fight with like Dan Rizzuto and
Oh yeah.
Vinny were cornering him, and then Vinny has like this, feel the crowd, when you land a punch and everyone's like, woo, like feel that and like be in there. Whereas Dan's the other way, right? Like just zone them out, focus, they're not there. You've done this every day.
Fucking Vinny.
Right? Vinny's just like, feel the crowd. It's the energy, and that'll motivate you, right? I mean, I feel like I'd be more like a Dan guy, try to zone it out.
Vinny, he's a wild man. He's so fun. I remember I met him and seen him fight once, and I was like, "Wow, man, he's so good." And then it was after I fought, and he was fighting on the same card at the same arena, so that we're gonna be fighting.
Oh,
at.
the AFC?
Yeah, it's at the AFC. So I was in a box, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, he's really good." He's gonna like watch this fight. So the fight's starting, and he's tuning the guy up because he's just doing like crazy. And he's got the guy down. He's got the guy in an omoplata. The guy's like, he's not on his knees anymore. He's flattened out. That hand is past the hip. I'm like, see, I look over. I'm like, see, I told you guys really Dustin. I look back and he's getting armbarred somehow. I don't even know how you could transition from where he was to an armbar, being armbarred that quickly. Like, I'm like, blowing my mind. Like, we have the picture of him having the guy in the omoplata, and it's like, it's in. Like, it's in. Like, you couldn't.
Oh my god.
So, maybe stay in the moment. No, love you, Vinny, but because if you're not feeling the crowd, then it's not going to be good, right?
One of the best nicknames in the game, though, right? Osuduru, Hardbone.
Hardbone, is that what? I didn't know what it was.
You didn't know what it was?
I didn't know what it was either.
He gave me a nickname. Him and Radley gave me the Aldi Bug when I was training him back in the Caleb days. Oh yeah. Vinny, one day we used to train with Caleb on this outside tennis court that we rolled like this massive free wrestling mat, thick wrestling mat, and we just sweep it off and be good to go, right? And I would come to training like right after work, and like some days in work you work with insulation and like gross stuff, right?
Yeah.
And I remember one day I didn't shower, like I often don't, and I roll to training, and I've just been itchy or whatever, and I get into my stuff and I'm start doing jiu-jitsu with everyone, right? And I didn't think anything of it. I was just doing jiu-jitsu. I was in different clothes, so I thought it was nothing. And
So what I'm hearing is you should roll around insulation before fights.
well,
Next level.
and he's just like, I'm kind of itchy, boys? Hey, it must be this outside court, right? And then Radley's like, goes with me, and he's like, no, I'm itchy now. And then he's like, is it you, Aldi? Where did you come from? Like, and I'm like, oh, Aldergrove, I was just working. He's like, what were you doing? I was working with some insulation and stuff. And everyone started laughing and making fun of me. He's like, get out of here, go shower. He's like, you're the Aldi bug. And then it just stuck.
The Aldi bug, that's hilarious.
Yeah, so every time I see Radley, I see Aldi bug.
Ever since then.
Yeah.
Fuck. So how'd you get your nickname? Tristan Boondock Connelly.
It's one of my first, I think it's just my first fight. So my favorite movie when I was a teenager was Boondock Saints. And so I had to walk out. I'm like, I need a song. I was like, I don't know, fuck, play this theme to Boondock Saints. So I didn't really think much of it. And the promoter loved it. He's like, that's awesome. Okay, he's like, I've never let you walk out to anything else. Next fight I have, it's the same thing. He puts on Boondock. Next one, he doesn't tell me. I get introduced. He introduces me as Boondock. It's like the announcer just introduced me as Tristan Boondock Connelly.
Oh, that's
I had no idea. I was like, what? Oh, okay. But then the next day on Sheerdog, named Tristan Boondock Connelly, I was like, holy shit! Oh, I guess that's.
So someone else did
I
it.
had nothing to do with it. It was just fucking done. I'm like, oh, I guess this sticking with this one.
What's good though? You're the Irish, like, and that's a gangster movie, right? Like, I don't know. That's a good one.
It's a good jig to walk out to.
Yeah.
You know. I
Pumps
like
up
it.
the Irish people. I walked out to one time. I fought on St. Patty's Day, and I walked out to ship it out to Boston.
Nice,
Yeah,
nice. I think I fought on St. Patty's Day or the day before once.
I fought in 2 St. Patty's Day in a row.
Wait. Was
one
it
was in a
battlefield?
bar and one was in a ring. But 2 St. Patty's in a row.
That's like Tank Abbott. He's the best quotes ever. If you ever listen,
I like Tank.
One of his quotes was something. I'm probably butchering this, but he lost the fight in the interview. And he's like, "So Tank didn't go your way." He's like, obviously pretty disappointed. Didn't win the fight, but me and my friends are going out to the bar tonight. Hopefully, getting some more fights and win those. Yeah, he's like, all right, I like this guy.
Accurate.
Yeah. He's like, everyone wants to be a fighter, make millions of dollars. I used to fight when the only prize is going to jail.
Oh god.
You got any stories? Share some stories.
I
Some bar fight stories.
have a story about kind of prison. I was in Williams Lake, of all places, that good old Williams Lake, and I was with my buddy who's a professional bull rider named Colton Manuel, and I'm there just for the rodeo, and it's like a big deal in there, and people from Montana come up, and it's just a bunch of hillbillies, and then you got me, right? I'm wearing Converse and like a gel in my hair, so I just stand out like a sore thumb. And every night at the rodeo, there's a barn dance or some bullshit. And I went to the barn dance and drinking Coors Banquet, getting hammered. And we've been drinking in the sun all day, and that's not good for me anyways. And I guess I was talking to a lady that maybe I shouldn't have. And I guess her boyfriend got there, and he's just like maybe sunning me out. I'm pretty gone at this point, and there's a lot of holes in the story. But long story short is me and this guy get into it, and then next thing I know, a cop grabs me from behind, throws me to the ground, and I'm in the back of the cop car, and my glasses are broken, and I'm pumped up now. I'm in the back of the cop car, just screaming, I know Colton Manuel. Do you know Colton Manuel? He's a pro bull rider. That's my buddy. And I had that accent the whole time. And I was like, let me go. He's going to be mad at you. He's going to tell the town about you. And I was just being a prick. And the guy was like, shut up back there. Shut up back there. And I was like, so then I'm like, can you turn the radio up louder? I can't hear anything back here. Is it only for you? And then he's getting mad, and then I black out, or he hit me, I don't remember. But and I come to again in the lovely facility of the Williams Lake prison, I guess. Drunk tank.
Drunk tank, yeah.
And I'm in the drunk tank, and I'm a 5'8" white person, roughly 165 pounds at this time. And there's me and 20 other Native American fellas, all Native Americans and me. And one of the bigger ones is sitting beside the toilet, and I'm sitting beside the toilet, and he starts growling at me. Maybe I'm in his zone or something, I don't know. And I'm like the only white guy with 20 Native Americans, and this guy's growling at me. And I'm like thinking I'm gonna have to fight this guy. And then the leader of the prison cell stands up, the man with face tattoos, multiple tattoos of teardrops on his face, and he had probably a bald head and a fat gut.
Yeah.
Neat guy though. And he stands up and he points at the big one with the long ponytail and the guy growling at me, and he says, "You leave him alone. Josh is my friend." And I stand up and I finger the guy. I say, "Fuck you, you heard him, right?" And I walk over and I high five the guy. I say, "Hey, how's it going, bro?" Sit down with him. We just start bullshitting about whatever. He's like, "Yeah, that guy won't bug you anymore." I was like, yeah. No clue, this fella.
Yeah.
No clue why he's defending me. Yeah. I hope I didn't do anything sexual before I blacked out. Or maybe that's a repressed memory that will come up later in counseling. I don't know. I don't know this man, and I just know that he's defending me. So I was all happy, high five, boom, boom. And nighttime at the Williams Lake thing, everyone went to bed, and I come to, and it's just me. All the Native American people are gone, and it's just me in an empty cell. So I don't know if I made those people up, or they all got released and they forgot about me. So I stood up, and I honestly don't know what to do. I'm in an empty cell with nothing.
Yeah.
So I start knocking on the door like, tink, tink, tink.
Yeah.
Tink, tink, tink. Slides over. "What do you want? To get out?" And then she's like, "You have to wait 1 more hour, then you're released." Okay. Shink. And I'm back to being alone. And in 1 hour of being sober and by myself, I was going nuts. I was punching the wall, push-ups, taking my shirt off, trying to find somewhere to hang myself. I didn't even know what to do. I was getting so stressed. And they eventually get me out. So I go in, and if you've ever been in the drunk tank, you get a bag of goodies, or your stuff, your stuff. Yeah. Coming from a veteran, so someone knows this trick, and they give you your stuff back. And in this bag, I had an empty wallet, my phone, a fake mustache, movie quality fake mustache, which makes no sense, a coaster, and some bubble gum. And I got all my stuff. My phone's dead, and I stand outside and I look left and right, and I'm in Williams Lake. I have no phone. I have nothing. I only know one person in Williams Lake, and his name's Cole Manuel. And a truck drives up, and it's 9 a.m. A truck drives up, pulls up, rolls his window. It's a huge, big ass truck. And he sticks his head outside. He's wearing a cowboy hat for the people at home, and he looks at me. He said, "Hey, you friends with Cole Manuel?" Kid you not. "You friends with Cole Manuel?" "Yes, sir." "Hop in, I'm driving you there, buddy." I jump in there. The cop that I was beaking was friends with Cole Manuel, and he told him what time to pick me up,
really?
or organize a ride. So,
Yeah.
so me being a drunk prick got me a free ride home. So
That's amazing.
yeah. So yes, that is my story of my hard time I've done.
Well, I talked my way out of the drunk tank at the drunk tank once. I got a ride home from the police, well, part way home. Then someone got stabbed and they let me out. I was after I fought actually a guy from this gym, Dan Ring. The only time he literally beat the piss out of me for 3 rounds, I just was too dumb to stay down, so he just kept hitting me. So I had like more than 2 black eyes somehow. Like everything was black, and it was a couple days later, so it was really setting in, real nice maroon color. And so I'm out at the bar, whatever, drinking, and this guy's just looking at me. He's like, "Look, I see the black eyes." I'm like, "Okay, leave me alone." He's just getting more aggro, and I leave the room, and he's following around the bar. So I leave the bar. He follows me outside. He's still and then like he'll kind of go away and then come back again and start getting angry. I'll go. So we're like, "Okay, he went away. Let's leave." So we walked around the corner, and all of a sudden I hear it's like footsteps, and I look over, and this guy's booking it at me, like full on at me, and it's like in front of a Max. There's other people around, so he comes. I square off with him, and he swings a couple times, and I can't remember exactly what happened. I was pretty drunk, but I ended up I double legged him and ended up on top of him and mount, and I like slam his throat down. I'm lifting my hand up to punch him in the face, and I get tackled clean off. And it's a cop, and he's like, "Police, stop!" I'm like, "Okay, yeah, you guys got me, good. Like you did a good job, fucking didn't hurt me, but fucking he's a big dude." And so I got up, and they're like, because they've been belly down, they're like talking, don't move, blah, 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 arresting me, great, handcuffs on, all that. Other dude is like, fuck you, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, this is good, okay. So anyway, so they get me up, and they walk me to the car, and then he turns around, and it's like, so, and they're like, whoa! He just like looks, they haven't seen my face yet. And they're like, no, that's not from right now, was it? And I'm like, oh, no.
This face of mine?
Yeah,
No.
this is. He's like, what happened? He's like, so what happened? I'm like, it's from a sporting event. He's like, I'm fucking say MMA fighter, got street fighting, so I'm like trying to play it down. He's like, you fighting like at the weekend? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, oh, okay, yeah, okay. Well, yeah, I just put you in the drunk tank for the night. No big, you're fighting, no big deal. I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. So we go back to the police station. And so I go in and talk and just kind of chit-chatting with the cop the whole time because, like, I wasn't that drunk. And, like, I was like, yeah, no, I get it. I was fighting. You got to take me in. Like, what am I supposed to say? Like, I was mounted on a dude. Like, he's like, well, you look like the aggressor. You were on top. And I was like, told him, like, no. Like, well, he, like, told him the story. I figured, what am I going to do? He's coming at me. I have to hold him down, do something. And he's like, no, fair enough. Like, so, but, like I said, just spend the night at the drunk tank and you'll let you out in the morning. No big deal. You get a ticket for fighting. And he's like, you can dispute it, if you want. But he's like, I have to give you the ticket because we picked it up. It's like, great. So you go there and he comes, the other guy comes out of another car and he's fucking fighting the handcuffs. Like, they're dragging him. He's just swearing. Take him to his cell. I can hear him just screaming. And they're all looking at me. I'm like, so I tell them, like, tell us your side of the story again. And they're like, yeah, we can see that, And then they're like, I don't thank the arresting officer. You did a great job. You didn't hurt me. You're firm. You let me know who you were right away. You didn't do anything. It's like, thank you. He looks at the others, like 8 cops around now. They're like, did the guy I arrest just compliment me on my arrest technique? I'm like, it was good, man. Like, I've been bouncing for a long time. That was real. It was Joyce. He's like, can you write that? Can I get that right? I'm like, sure. I never ended up doing it, but I'm like, I would have written it down. Yeah. And they're like, all right, we'll drive you home. And drive me home. And the radio pops up. They're like, dispatch, blah, 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 another stabbing on Dallas Road. And they're like, did I just hear another stabbing? And they're like, yeah, we're going to have to let you out here, Tristan. We'll just go right home. Don't go out. Like, we see you out. We're taking you back. So you can just go right home. I'm like, all right. Just got to ride like halfway home from the police.
Is Dallas Road in Duncan or Nanaimo?
No, it's not that far. It's just outside downtown. It's where people walk their dog. It's like a nice place. I'm like, oh. Like, another stab. But anyway.
So
That's that story.
So out of all your guys' fights, let's go through the hardest fight. Let's talk about that. I was always curious about that too.
My toughest fight. The one I'm probably most remembered for by my family was a boxing fight I had. And then the toughest MMA fight I ever had was probably with Taylor Christopher. Just like one I had to dig the deepest. Like, I remember... I kind of touched on it when I was on the podcast last time, saying how I was like puking all night before and just had, bad food, and I was puking till 10:30 in the morning. My sister looks, she's like, well, I guess you have to message him and tell him the fight's off, and I just fucking laughed at her. I was like, so I go, and me and Taylor had a fantastic fight, a 5-round fight that's on YouTube, and it was awesome. But I remember puking in the 4th or 5th round, and you can see it on YouTube where I get hit with this overhand right, and I kind of walk, and I kind of like walk back to take the center, and I puked in my mouth because I was just so into it. I put my hands in my mouth, throw the chunk of puke into the cage, and then kept fighting, right? And at the end of the fight, Micah Brakefield and Curtis Harriet are not arguing, but they're like, what was that? What was that? Was that a tooth? I think my boy just broke your boy's tooth, like. And Micah's like, no, I don't know what that was. Maybe it was a tooth. It could be a tooth. It's Josh, like. and then I remember it kind of was forgotten, and later on, Micah was like, oh, what was that? And I was like, oh, it was a chunk of puke that I threw into the cage. And I remember Saba being in the cage after I won or whatever, and Saba looks down, and he was going to go touch it, and I was like, don't touch it. Don't touch that. But that was probably like the hardest fight. I've had fights where the next day you feel like you got in a car accident, like you can't move your head left or right on the pillow. You're just in so much pain. But I haven't had a fight where I'm like, ooh, that's the hardest. I've just had hard moments, and you know, there's things that, as we said before, there's so many variables. You could have a girlfriend like shitting on you all fight week. You could have a wife or your kids, or like there's so many variables. Like fighting has to be such a selfish sport, and a big key in why people quit fighting and why people don't even show up to fighting is because it's hard. And the preparation, like for those who have to cut weight, so everyone, you know, like there's so many variables
too.
Yeah,
you can lose or cut weight.
Yeah, pretty much. I was gonna, no comment on that, but yeah, cutting weight is key. It is important in our sport, I think.
It's very, very important.
Yeah. Michael wants me to fight at 185. he said you should walk around at your normal walk around weight. He's like,
what's Micah's track record?
Well, at cutting weight, he knows how to. He's good at it, but
his fights always end in the first round. I give him that.
It's one way or the other, just fucking
one way or the other.
Flying triangle or headbutt.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Do you have a toughest fight?
Toughest fight? I probably, you know, most of my losses have all been tough fights. Miles Marola is a really tough one. I was the most tired after Miles Marola. Like I remember I went to go. I couldn't hold my arms up. I was so tired, and I went back into my room and like trying to get them. It was hard for me to let them pull my gloves off, if that makes sense. Like letting them. I'm like, oh, this is hard. And then I had beers, and I was like, someone's got to open these. And so I ran out the thing to Miles, like holding the beers in my hand, and I could barely lift my hand to give him the beer. I'm like, man, I could barely lift my arm. He's like, dude, I can't lift my arm to take it. I'm so tired. Like, because neither of us were good. We just both tried really hard. Yeah. Thinking back, I'm like, man, we both probably just so sloppy. But that was really, really hard. Shane was a tough fight, but you know, like that way, I worked really hard for that, and I got pretty tired. But yeah, nothing is. I think Miles probably the toughest fight.
I fought a kid in my backyard once, and his name was Kirk McLean, and he was like just a tough hockey fighter. And I remember being like 16, 17, and helmets and gloves, or it wasn't helmets and gloves. It was actually MMA gloves, more head trauma. Yeah. MMA gloves, no mouth guards. But it was only boxing, and he wouldn't let us do everything. So I was like, okay, let's just box with a guy who's 6'3", wearing MMA gloves. What can happen, right?
Yeah.
And he's 6'3", and he's got long arms, and I start running at him like the old me, and I think I maybe hit him once or twice, nothing with anything good. And I remember running at him, and he threw a 6, and the uppercut landed, and my head shot up. I went to my knees, and I was just so upset. I remember it being on like a shitty camera, and I watched it. I just sat there. It was to make the matters worse, it's my little sister's boyfriend. And I remember fighting my older sister's boyfriend and doing much better than the younger sister's boyfriend, who just punched me out pretty much. And like, I wasn't knocked or nothing, but I just like was so embarrassed, and I just sat there watching the footage of me getting dropped for like an hour. People are like, hey Josh, you're right. I'm like, leave me the fuck alone. just watching this, like, how do I get better? What, like, you know, and I just remember that being a fight where my family still makes fun of me for it, so, you know, sometimes it hurts.
So wrapping up here, if everything went well, I guess, let's say like everything goes as planned after this fight, like what's the next big thing that would happen?
Well, I look to book another fight and stay active, and you know, with every single fight to make my case stronger for the UFC. And right now I'm at a point where anytime there's a Canadian show and there's a lightweight that gets hurt, as long as I stay on the same track I'm in now, I'm more than likely the guy that gets the call, right? So hopefully Vancouver, they had some lightweights and they get hurt. So that's the ideal world. If not, we just keep going and see, you know, maybe one FC, maybe, you know, there's other options out there that I can look at as well. And so just probably get another one booked as soon as I can. And
What do you think of 1FC, by the way?
I want to see. I think they're awesome.
Yeah.
They're wicked.
Yeah.
When I'm going over there with Bibby, looking forward to going over there again with him. He's fighting the same guy in October, I believe.
What weight class would you fight at then?
It would still be lightweight, so it's like 170 pounds.
Oh, what? It's that heavy?
It's like 100. I think it's 170. It might be 169. I think it's in kilograms or something. Some number.
Okay.
And you take hydration tests every morning. You got to make weight 5 days in a row or something like that. I don't know the exact process, but like every morning they make you piss in a cup and they check your hydration levels and they make you weigh in. So you got to make weight every day. So we're like Bibby was basically just eating one meal a day. Like we'll have like a dinner at night, like a light bit of like just protein. We just go and get sushi basically.
Yeah.
And he eats just the meat. And then weigh in next morning, and then again, and then we go train, and he eat. That's all he did each day.
He wasn't dehydrated or nothing?
No dehydration.
Okay.
No dehydration.
You just fasting.
Just fat. No carbs at all, because so you just want to have your body's natural. You have no food in your stomach. Your body's natural water retention levels low, because you don't want to be like if you have lots of salt, lots of carbs, and your body's gonna be wanting to store that water. And if you suck water out, your body's gonna come. You're gonna get dehydrated and be bigger still, right?
So for 1FC, I'm an 85er then.
Yeah, sure. Sure.
Check.
Sure.
Okay. That's good for me then. Ended my career.
Sage Northcutt was an 85er. How'd that go?
Was that 85?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I'm a 55er or a 45er. Bantamweight.
What about you?
Guy.
What was the question?
So like, let's say everything goes right.
Oh, for me, Tristan's at a different place in his life and his career, his journey, whatever. It's just completely different than mine. And for me, I'm 25. I'm just literally just so devoted to the sport right now. I'm not partying, which is a big thing for me. I haven't been partying for a long time. And I've just been good. I've just been doing this sport so much, and I've just been so dedicated that I'm like looking at fighting through a different lens. So I don't give a shit where I go, and I don't think after this fight necessarily I'll go anywhere. The only thing that's going to happen is I'm going to get another fight. I'm going to fight as soon as I can, keep fighting, and if I can get to a major organization by the end of the year, or if I can get to 4-2 and Tristan can get me in to a TKO or a Bellator or somewhere else I can show my shit, then that's neat, But for me, I'm 25. If I can be in the major show within 3 years, I'll be stoked. But the thing is, when I'm in the major show, I want to make sure that I can fight every single person, because I don't care. I'm so confident in my skills that it's like, I don't care. I'll take this fight, And I think that's how you have to be, because I've always taken tough fights, and I think that's gonna best prepare me. And fighting bitches don't get you anything.
No.
Fighting a guy you're not afraid of, or fighting a guy you're not worried about is a way you can get hurt, and B, it's not fun. I never got into fighting to be a bully.
And yeah, you can go and perform in that, and then what happens when you don't feel that confident going into a fight?
Over him.
And then against someone that is better.
Yeah.
So now you got someone that's better and you're less confident.
Yeah.
It's a dangerous mix, right?
Yeah.
Someone you're better than and you're confident is different. It's a different fucking fight.
Yeah.
Right.
So for me, after this fight, it's just fight again and fight again, fight again, and keep training, get better. So it's pretty easy for me.
Cool. Anything else you guys want to talk about?
No, Joey's got a weight issue. He's pretty fat.
Joey, come to jiu-jitsu, and for the other listeners, Mom, I love you. Rise FC in Victoria, July 27th, this Saturday. Me and Tristan going to kick some ass. Jamie Siraj also shout out. He's gonna get kick some ass in a tough fight. But that's a stack card. So if you're watching, check out Fight TV, Rise 4.
That's right. Boom.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening.